So a Washington Post editorial this morning suggests Donald Trump has basically two debate modes, attack and disappear. But with two people on that stage and not the crowd that he was used to working with in the prior debates, fading into the background is going to be a little bit tricky tonight. So will Donald Trump be in attack mode this evening? Charlie Hurt, columnist for the Washington Times, and Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Good to have both of you here. And you're an interesting crew because you've been sort of down on the Trump train, shall we say.
And Hillary.
And Charlie has been pretty positive on it. So let's talk about Donald Trump here for a moment, because there's been so much discussion about which Donald Trump we're going to get. Guy, what do you expect from him tonight? What do you think he will do tonight?
I think there will be some counterattacks from him because that's his MO. But Donald Trump proved a number of things during the primary, and one of them is that he is adaptable in these scenarios. I don't think the Clinton campaign really knows what he's going to do. That probably worries them. She's a very predictable person. She's well prepared. She's also a good debater. Let's not forget that. I think it's a mistake for either of these campaigns to underestimate the other. The problem is, how do you prepare for Donald Trump in a setting like this? I'm not sure you can, at least not reliably.
Well, you know, and these debates always kind of come down to, you know, the enormous amount of preparation that the candidates put into it. But she comes off as kind of wonky and nerdy, and Donald Trump is not going to come off as wonky or nerdy. But he comes off as far more relatable, and I think that's a big reason why he's done so well in the primaries, and I think that there's a good reason why he could come out of tonight, you know, having sort of eased a lot of people's concerns about him, you know, his temperament or whatever, you know, term you want to use for it.
He tends to be funny. Hey,
yeah.
Listen, she could be funny tonight. She could open up and had a great time at your wedding.
Yeah.
She could. I mean, I don't think Hillary Clinton and go, okay, that's a barrel of laughs. And if she decides to try to make some jokes, that's fine, but she can't seem too forced. And a lot of the time, she's trying too hard. So she has a higher bar. She needs a decisive win tonight, especially with some of the polling that she woke up to this morning.
I think a lot of this is conventional wisdom. Are you able to break through your own thoughts and think about something that's outside the box that we haven't considered just yet? No, what's the wild card tonight? What's everybody talking about tomorrow? It's difficult to predict, I think.
Well, going back to the nerd thing, you know, if you go back, you know, 30, 40 years, nobody, you know, nerds can win debates, but nerds don't win elections. And the only example I can think of is in maybe 2008, where President Obama is a little bit more nerdy, a little bit more wonky on stage, and obviously he beats John McCain. But Hillary Clinton is not in any way Barack Obama. The other example that I think of is in 2000 with Al Gore and
George Bush.
George Bush. You know, the media declared Al Gore the winner after that. But of course, they weren't relating to what everybody in America was relating to. And if you have 100 million people watching this thing, that's a lot of umpires, referees out there.
Very, very true. But, you know, the potential pitfall for Donald Trump is the reason that everyone keeps asking if he's studying. It's that possible moment where something comes up and it's appalling that he doesn't know the answer. Okay, that's what they have to be worried about, right, Charlie?
Yes, but
potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's proven himself to be very deft at sort of not getting pinned down if he doesn't know specifics, and he does broad brush things, and he talks about broad brush policies that people relate to and they understand, and so he can sort of, they'll forgive a lot. As long as he comes off as being, you know, as being relatable and having the big picture, you know, being right about the big picture.
And when that's happened, you think of the nuclear arsenal, you think about the Brexit moment when he was being interviewed and appeared to not know what that was when it was a big story. But in the past, it hasn't hurt him, Guy.
Yeah, in the primary at least. So the brightest lights are tonight, maybe 100 million people watching. We've gone back to this over and over again. His biggest weaknesses in the polling is not qualified, doesn't have the temperament to be president. He could blow himself up by playing into one of those two stereotypes about him in a major way that's memorable, that gets played over and over again. But if you're Hillary Clinton, again, I think the pressure is higher on her. This morning, not just the national polling, but some state polls, Pennsylvania, Colorado, part of her blue wall that she was supposed to have locked down, and 6 weeks ago she seemed to.
It looks like it's a jump ball today.
She's got to be concerned about that.
I think about that, Guy. I think about all the polling that is very close and legitimately so. Wait until Saturday. October 1st is the day you circle on the calendar. You're going to have 4 full days to get rolling averages from the major polling operations, and you'll know next Friday or Saturday whether or not it is really a jump ball.
I agree with that, except to say she has spent $30, $40, $50 million over the last 6 to 7 weeks with one goal: to make Donald Trump unacceptable as president. And over that stretch of so much time and energy and money spent, her number has fallen.
Right.
That is a red
Very
flag.
Interesting. Yeah, and she's outspent him, what, 8-1 in some of these
Oh,
battleground
it's massive.
states.
It's a blowout, yeah.
On TV spots.
Yeah, and if we're talking about places like Pennsylvania and Colorado today, we could be talking about Wisconsin and Michigan in 2 weeks.
Which was his original plan.
Yeah.
To go through those
Absolutely.
Rust Belt areas and former industrial strength areas in the country.
There's a lot of natural fit
and tell people that he can turn things around. Thanks, you guys. Great stuff.
you.
Charlie,
Gentlemen,
thank you.
as we've
Guys,
said
thank
all
you.
week here, you know, we can say anything because right now we're all right, you know, because nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Rerun it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
can run it tomorrow, though.
Yeah, we shall.
We have the technology.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.